The age of the first dreamers, when the old universe breathed its final sigh and folded into light, the memory of everything that had ever been. Alira's love, Taran's courage, Serene's awakening, Ilarian's sacrifice, flowed into a single spark. That spark became a song, and the song became a new creation. No one saw the beginning. There was no explosion, no big bang. There was a quiet pulse, like the heartbeat of a newborn in endless dark. From that rhythm, color began to bloom, deep blues, liquid golds, and silvers that melted into one another. The fabric of existence unfurled again, not as it was before, but softer, wiser, alive with memory. In this new cosmos, time was still learning how to walk. Stars were infants, galaxies were murmurs, and light itself sometimes forgot which direction to go. And in one corner of this gentle chaos formed a small, glimmering planet, neither bright nor dim, neither warm nor cold. The source whispered its name into the forming wind, Oreth. Oreth was young and full of promise. Its surface shimmered with oceans of shifting glass, and the sky glowed with twin moons that sang faintly to one another. It was on this world that the first beings awakened, not born, but remembered into being. They were called the first dreamers. They had no parents. No past, no history, only echoes of emotions they did not understand. They rose from the waters and from the stones, their bodies shaped from light woven with shadow, their eyes like stars just beginning to learn to shine. They spoke not with sound, but with pure thought, and even that thought trembled with the wonder of being alive. Among them was Kale, whose glow flickered with hues of dawn, and Nara, whose presence shimmered like a breeze over still water. They were not lovers nor kin, for such words had not yet been born. But they were bound, drawn to each other as if they had met before eternity began. Kale was curious about everything. He climbed the living mountains that breathed with light. He dove into seas that whispered of forgotten suns. Nara was still contemplative. She spent hours gazing into the night sky, tracing invisible patterns between newborn stars. "What do you see up there?" Kale would ask. "Something that isn't yet," she would answer softly. "But it wants to be." As more dreamers awakened, Oreth flourished. They shaped their world not with tools, but with imagination. When they thought of trees, forests grew. When they desired shelter, the wind carved gentle arches of crystal for them. Their dreams were the laws of physics, and their emotions sculpted reality. But with creation came curiosity, and with curiosity came the question none could answer. Who dreamed us? They asked the rivers, the stars, the glowing ground. No answer came. Only silence, deep and ancient. The same silence that had preceded the source's awakening long ago. It was Nyera who first felt it, a faint vibration beneath the oceans, like a memory buried too deep. "There is something sleeping beneath us," she said. "Something older than this world." Kyle laughed. "Everything is new here." "What could be older?" She touched his hand. "Dreams. Dreams are always older," and so the dreamers began to search. They gathered by the shore where the water turned to light and sang to the depths in their strange, wordless language. Days passed. Then the ocean answered. From the abyss rose a tower, spiraling, translucent, carved with sigils no one could read. At its top floated a single sphere of violet and gold, pulsing faintly like a heart remembering how to beat. The dreamers felt their minds fill with visions, worlds before this one, lives they never lived, faces that looked like theirs but older, wiser, sadder. They saw Alira, they saw Ilarian, they saw the moment when all creation had folded into nothing, and a voice spoke through them all. "We are the memory of what was. You are the hope of what will be." From that day, Oreth was no longer just a world. It became a living bridge between the past and the future. The dreamers began to evolve, growing distinct from one another. Some became shapers, molding the planet's matter into form. Some became singers, who could weave emotion into light. And some, like Nyera, became rememberers, those who sought the truth of the first dream. Kyle and Naira led them together for ages, teaching creation not as command, but as collaboration. Under their guidance, Oreth's skies blossomed with constellations shaped by will, each one linked to the heartbeat of a dreamer. They lived without time, without death, only transformation, until something changed. It began as a shadow without source, a region of the sky where stars refused to form, a silence that ate sound. At first they thought it was nothing, a stillness between dreams. But then the shapers noticed their creations weakening, the ground growing cold, the seas losing color. Naira felt it first, a fear she could not name. "The unmade has followed us," she whispered. No one understood. But deep inside, Kale remembered a dream, one of an ancient being, golden and sorrowful, holding a seed of light and letting it die so that life could begin again. And with that memory came a revelation. This world was not the first dream, he said. It is the next. But the old dream still lingers, incomplete, unended. The shadow grew, swallowing the edges of their reality. The dreamer's thoughts could no longer shape matter there. It was a void where even imagination vanished. They called it the hollow, and they feared it more than death, for it was the opposite of existence. Naira believed the answer lay within the violet gold sphere atop the ocean tower, the relic that had awakened them. "It is the heart of the last universe," she said. "We must return it to the source, or the hollow will consume this one too." Kale did not want to believe her. He wanted to protect Oreth, to fight the darkness, not surrender it. But the hollow grew faster every moment. The dreamer's light flickered. Creation itself trembled, so the two of them, Kale, the shaper of horizons, and Nara, the rememberer of dreams, climbed the tower together. As they reached the summit, the world around them began to collapse into waves of memory. The stars unraveled, the seas whispered farewells. The violet sphere pulsed brighter, responding to their presence. Nara touched it gently. "This is not the end," she said. "It is the next forgetting." Kale held her hand. "Will we remember each other again?" Her smile was like dawn breaking through mist. "We always do." They placed their hands on the sphere, and it dissolved, spreading light across the collapsing sky. The hollow met the radiance, and instead of consuming it, it merged. Light and silence became one. Oreth disappeared, but in the moment of its ending, every dreamer became a seed, fragments of consciousness scattered into the newborn void. Each would awaken in its own way, on new worlds, under new suns, carrying echoes of what they had once been. None would remember fully, but each would feel the faint ache of belonging, the ancient rhythm that had begun with Alira's heartbeat. And somewhere, in a galaxy not yet born, two children would someday meet, one drawn to the stars, one to the silence beneath them. They would not know why, but when their hands touched, the air around them would shimmer faintly with gold and violet light. And thus the cycle continued, not as repetition, but as renewal. For the source does not end, it dreams forever, and every dream is a life, and every life a chance to remember. And in the deep heart of creation, a voice that had once been Naira's whispered to the sleeping stars, "Do not fear the forgetting, for it is only the space between dreams."